We often think of our lives as a long series of repairs. We spend our days trying to fix our mistakes, fix our surroundings, and most of all, fix ourselves. We treat our minds like a broken car that needs a mechanic, or a garden full of weeds that must be pulled out. We promised ourselves we would stay calm today. We read the books, we listen to the podcasts, we practice the deep breathing. We felt so peaceful while sitting on our cushions in the morning light. And yet, when that one person says that one thing, or when that email lands in our inbox, the fire still rises. In that moment, we feel like a failure. We feel ashamed because the peace we built so carefully seems to have vanished. In a second, we think we have failed because we still feel the heat in our chest and the tightness in our jaw. But have you ever noticed a strange thing? The more you try to fix your anger, the more exhausted you become. The more you pull at the weeds of your frustration, the faster they seem to grow back. What if the mistake isn't the anger itself? What if the mistake is the war you are waging against it? Buddhism offers us a perspective that is completely opposite to how we usually live. It suggests that peace is not found by winning the battle against your emotions. Peace is found by ending the war altogether. Today, we are going to explore the alchemy of awareness. We are going to learn how to hold the fire without being burned. We will discover why trying to repair yourself is actually the biggest obstacle to your freedom. But before we dive in, almost nobody notices the tiny gap between a spark and a flame. If you can see that gap, you can change your life. Let us look at a simple image to understand why we react the way we do. Imagine you are walking into a dark room at twilight. The shadows are long, and your mind is already a bit tired from the day. You step inside and suddenly, you see a long coiled shape on the floor. Your heart stops. Your breath catches. In an instant, your brain screams, "There is a snake." Immediately, your body goes into a state of panic or intense anger. You want to grab a stick to kill it, or you want to run away in fear. This reaction is what the ancient teachings call aversion or resistance. It is the instinctive desire for non-existence. You want the thing in front of you to stop existing because it feels like a threat to your safety. But then, you reach for the light switch and turn it on. In the bright, clear light, you see that the shape on the floor is not a snake. It is just a coiled piece of old rope that someone left behind. In that single second of seeing the truth, what happens to your fear? Does it take an hour of meditation to make the fear go away? Do you need to practice a special breathing technique to stop being afraid of the snake? No. The fear vanishes instantly because it was based on an illusion. The snake never existed, so there is nothing to kill or run away from. The rope was always just a rope. Master Veen Min, a teacher who points us toward the direct truth, explains that our anger is almost always a reaction to a snake. That is actually a rope. We get angry because we think our ego is being attacked. We see a threat where there is only a natural process happening. When you see the truth clearly, the letting go is not something you do. It is something that happens. Seeing is the action, seeing is the letting go. But here is a deeper trap. Most people try to see the rope while they are still convinced It is a snake. They try to let go of the snake while they are still terrified of it. Let us bring this into your daily life to see how this works. Imagine you come home after a long, stressful day at work. You are tired, you are hungry, and you just want a moment of peace. You walk into the kitchen and see a pile of dirty dishes in the sink. Your spouse or your roommate promised to do them, but there they are, staring at you. Suddenly, you don't see dishes. You see a snake. The dishes represent a lack of respect, a lack of love, or a lack of support. You start to tell yourself a story. They never help me. They don't care about my hard work. You feel the anger rising, and you are ready to shout. In that moment, your ego is busy painting the snake. It is adding more and more detail to the monster. But wait, there is a secret the ego doesn't want you to know. The anger is not caused by the dishes. The anger is caused by your resistance to the fact that the dishes are there. You are fighting reality. You are trying to repair the moment by wishing it was different. This brings us to a central image: the mother and the crying baby. Imagine that baby again. The baby is crying because it is hungry or cold or simply overwhelmed by the sensations of life. When the mother hears the cry, she doesn't think, "This baby is broken, I must fix it." She doesn't judge the baby for having a bad attitude. She simply goes to the child. She picks it up and holds it against her heart. She provides a space of total warmth and presence. Your anger is that crying baby. It is a part of your human experience that is suffering. It is a conditioned response to a painful feeling. When the heat rises, don't reach for a weapon to kill the anger. Don't reach for a mask to hide it. Reach for the arms of your awareness. Pick up the sensation. Hold it with the quality of being wholehearted. Being wholehearted means you are not half present. You are not watching the anger while secretly wishing it would go away. You are fully there. With the burn, you are willing to feel the tension in your jaw and the fire in your gut. You are the space that says, "It is okay to feel this right now." When you stop interfering, a miracle happens. The anger begins to return to its original nature. Just as the crying baby eventually falls asleep in the mother's arms, the energy of anger begins to settle. It loses its fuel because you have stopped feeding it with the story of being wronged. You have stopped giving it the food of resistance. This is the process of returning truth to truth. But here is where most people get stuck. They try to use awareness as a tool to make the anger go away. If you are watching the baby just because you want it to stop crying, you are not a mother. You are a technician. And the baby will feel that lack of love. The baby will cry even louder because it feels your rejection. To stay in this state of presence during a busy day, we must use 3 simple factors: caution, attention, and observation. Think of these as the light that reveals the rope on the floor. Caution is the first step. It doesn't mean being timid or slow. It means moving through your day with a sense of care. Imagine you are carrying a full cup of hot coffee across a crowded room. You are cautious. You feel the weight in your hand. You watch the surface of the liquid. You notice the people around you. You are careful not to spill, because you know the consequences. This is how we should move through our lives. When you are cautious, you are the first one to notice when a ripple of irritation starts. You feel the tiny spark before it becomes a forest fire. Imagine you are driving in heavy traffic. Someone cuts you off without a signal, and you have to slam on your brakes. If you are cautious, you notice the instant surge of adrenaline. You feel the physical surge before it becomes a scream or an aggressive gesture. Attention is the second factor. Attention means being focused on the reality of the moment, not the interpretation. When that driver cuts you off, attention stays with the racing heart. It stays with the vibration in your hands on the steering wheel. It refuses to follow the ego into the forest of words like, "That person is an idiot," or "I need to teach them a lesson." Attention stays with the raw experience. It stays with the what is. Observation is the third factor. This is the act of simply seeing the process as it unfolds, without trying to change it. You see the contact, you see the unpleasant feeling, you see the impulse to honk the horn. You see it all as a natural chain of events, like a chemical reaction in a lab. A scientist doesn't get angry at the chemicals for reacting. They just observe the laws of nature in action. When these three are present, you are living in harmony with the natural law. You are no longer a person who has to struggle with anger. You are the knowing nature, in which the anger is being known. There is a profound difference between these two states. If you say, "I am angry," you have identified with the cloud. If the cloud is dark, you feel dark. But if you see that there is a sensation of anger being reflected by awareness, you are the sky. The sky can host 1,000 storms and never be changed by them. The sky doesn't need to fight the storm. To be clear, it just waits. The storm has a beginning and an end. It is temporary. The sky is simply what remains. When the clouds pass, Master Veen Min emphasizes that we must return to our original face. Our original face is our knowing nature. Before the ego started building walls of resistance, we think we need to build a peaceful self. But peace is not something you build. Peace is what is left when you stop building conflict. Imagine you are carrying a heavy stone in your hand. You have carried it for years, and your back is aching, and your hands are bleeding. You think the stone is a treasure that you must protect at all costs. But then, the light of awareness shows you that it is just a heavy, useless rock. In that moment of seeing, do you need a 10-step plan to drop the rock? No. The moment you truly see its weight and its worthlessness, your hand naturally opens. The rock falls. Seeing is the action. Seeing is the letting go. This is why the Buddha called his teaching a way to be verified. Here and now. It is not a promise of a future heaven. It is the immediate relief of dropping the stone of resistance to what is. But we must be careful. The path of awareness has its own traps that can catch us if we are not vigilant. The first is the forest of words. Many of us fall into the habit of collecting knowledge instead of experiencing reality. We memorize the definitions of anger, We know all the ancient terms and the mechanics of the mind. But when we get home and find the kitchen is a mess, we still scream. This is because we have the map, but we aren't walking the territory. Knowledge is like a signpost. It points the way, but it isn't the destination. You cannot eat the word bread and feel full. You must look at the reality of your own heart. In the middle of the mess, the second trap is the will to become a master. We try to force ourselves to be mindful every second. We turn presence into a chore or a competition with ourselves. We think, I have been mindful for 10 minutes. I am doing a good job. This is just the ego wearing a spiritual costume. It is still the same old ego, trying to achieve a goal and gain a reward. True awareness is effortless and spontaneous. It is the natural function of your mind. Just like a mirror reflects whatever is placed before it. A mirror doesn't try hard to reflect the world. It just stays empty and clear. When we try too hard, we create a new kind of tension. We become rigid and tight, trying to maintain a holy state. But life is not a state. Life is a flow. True presence is flexible. It can adapt to any condition, even the condition of being angry. The third trap is the observer self. This is when the ego hides behind the awareness and says, look at how great I am at observing. We have turned the sky into a bigger, subtler ego. But true knowing has no eye. There is just the reflection of what is happening. There is just the knowing nature, doing its job. When you find yourself feeling proud of your practice, just see that pride. Hold the pride like a crying baby too. Don't try to fix the pride. Just see it. The goal is not to be a perfect practitioner. The goal is to be a person of no affair. A person of no affair is someone who has ended all internal bargains with reality. They don't say to life, I will be okay if you are nice to me. They say, whatever you bring, I will meet it with my knowing nature. If there is pain, there is pain. If there is heat, there is heat. By returning the phenomena to itself, they are free. They are no longer fighting the river. They are the river. In your daily life, this means you stop being a victim of your circumstances. Imagine you send a heartfelt message to someone you care about. Hours pass, and there is no reply. Your ego immediately begins to paint a snake. They are ignoring me. They don't care. I must have done something wrong. You feel your chest tighten. You reach for your phone again and again, wanting certainty. In that moment, stop. Be cautious. Feel the sensations in your body. Pay attention to the raw experience, not the story your mind is creating. Observe the entire process. You may discover that the only thing you actually know is this. There is silence. Everything else is a story the mind has added. Instead of fighting the silence, thank the situation. It has become a mirror, showing you exactly where you are still holding onto a stone. This is how we live in harmony with the natural law. We stop being mechanics and start being witnesses. We stop trying to repair the world and start seeing it as it is. One moment of presence is worth more than a lifetime of studying books. Because in that moment, the snake becomes a rope, the fire becomes light, the heavy stone falls to the ground, and you are finally home. Not a home in the distant future, but the home that has always been right here. Underneath all the noise of your thoughts, underneath all the storms of your reaction, the sky is already clear. You don't have to make it clear. You just have to stop painting it with your judgments. As you leave this video today, don't try to remember everything I said. Don't try to be a better person or a more peaceful person. Just move with a little more caution. Pay a little more attention to your breath and the sensations in your hands. And when the next crying baby of anger arises in your heart, don't shout at it. Don't run away. Just pick it up, hold it, and watch. Watch with the love of a mother who knows that the baby is exactly where it needs to be. In this moment, watch until the truth returns to the truth. Everything I have just said is only a skillful means. Do not believe the words. Trust only the truth. You directly verify within yourself, here and now.